a city where there's law, there's police, and yet they have the will and they don't have the fear to throw down objects, chemicals. But I think this is a long narrative. This is one narrative of 18 months of death and destruction in Palestine. This is a narrative of 76 years of occupation.
Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio, Tumwa, Iowa. Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up.
You pushed me! No! I'm trying to walk down the street! No, I'm trying to walk down the street! Ugly bitch! Yeah, you blocking the sidewalk. Here at CARE New York, this is an indefensible hate crime. This is something that we unequivocally condemn. And this is also something that should be investigated to the utmost length by the NYPD. If the NYPD can exhaust every single avenue to arrest and apprehend students going to their citizenship interviews, they can do the exact same thing to apprehend and arrest disruptors that throw feces and chemical weapons at protesters from down below for protesting and utilizing their First Amendment right to free speech.
Looks like someone is dropping ice or water or something from their balcony.
He a bitch. That nigga a bitch. That nigga a bitch. Oh, that threw shit out the fucking window, bro.
Y'all go up there?
Yo, y'all niggas gotta go up there, bro. Threw shit out the window, bro.
Above the Summit, New York building, apartment buildings, I believe. Yeah, they're dropping garbage on top of protesters.
So shame on the NYPD! Shame on those who have every single avenue necessary to hold someone accountable for throwing chemical weapons at people who are exercising their First Amendment right to vote! Shame! Number one terrorist! Number one terrorist!
I pray to the Almighty to bestow upon me His truth, His wisdom, that I may be worthy of conveying His message and so sanctify His name and bring peace to the world. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings to all of you who have taken upon yourself the heart, the strength, the courage to come out and stand under a porch that just recently objects were thrown that could have killed people. But you came out anyway. And therefore we have to discuss, why are we witnessing people that have the capacity in a city where there's law, there's police, and yet they have the will and they don't have the fear to throw down objects, chemicals. But I think this is a long narrative. This is one narrative of 18 months of death and destruction in Palestine. This is a narrative of 76 years of occupation. Because the people of this movement called Zionism, a nationalist movement, heretics, rebels against God, have used a ploy. They've used the Bible, and they've used a word called anti-Semitism in order to strike fear into anybody who dares speak up against what they are doing, their occupation. They took the Bible and said, if you're opposing them, you're opposing God. And then they took the Holocaust and they said, the world recognizes there was an evil and it can't happen again. And therefore, if you're opposing them, the representatives, so say, of Jews, of God, of the Jewish religion, that you are anti-Semitic, you are inhuman, you are evil. So they have dehumanized the people of Palestine. They have dehumanized all the rabbis, the great Torah authorities from the city of Jerusalem. From day one, the rabbis in Jerusalem went out and gave the Jewish community over to the Jordanians, and the Zionists shot at them. And they assassinated our rabbis. In 1948, Rabbi Metzir Chazan was shot until the day he passed on that bullet in his leg when he went out to give the Jewish community to the Jordanians where the Jews were protected. They were not abused. But our history is the Zionists, every generation that they are there, they have abused, they have assassinated rabbis, they have disrespected all the Torah authorities. They have come to the United States and to Great Britain declaring that they are the representation of the Jewish religion. If you oppose them, you are evil, you are anti-Semitic, and you are therefore inhumane, and they have the right, just like a field that has worms, they spray it. Judaism is not permitted to occupy, to steal. Judaism, for 2,000 years, we Jews, as you see, I'm dressed in my holiday garb. We do the Pesach Seder, the Passover Seder, where we talk to God and we say we are 2,000 years in exile, and we are not misled by people like Zionists. We are holding true to our faith, and ultimately the Almighty will reveal His glory, where all humanity will serve Him in harmony. That is why we live together with the Muslims, saying this Passover Seder, because we are not a danger to the Muslims, and the Muslims are not a danger to Jews. We always live together in peace. What is the impediment to peace? Zionism, their evil creation, the state of Israel. Since this phenomenon of the Zionist state of Israel, there is anti-Semitism, murder of Palestinians, murder of Jews, suffering, hate, anti-Semitism, yes. The textbook definition of anti-Semitism is Zionism in the state of Israel. World leaders, we plead with you, have respect for our Jewish scholars, have respect for humanity. Listen to our voice. How much have we suffered by the Holocaust? How much have we suffered? How many people of the Palestinian children are suffering? You will answer to God, so please cast off the intimidations of Zionism. Let's do what's right. Let's free Palestine. Stop the murder in Gaza. Bring us a free Palestine.
I'm a doctor sharing a statement of condemnation on behalf of healthcare workers for Palestine and Doctors Against Genocide. We stand completely in solidarity with the civilians who were practicing their First Amendment right as guaranteed in this nation led by liberty to protest against the ongoing genocide in Gaza. This statement represents the views of our organizations which are acting on our humanity, our medical oath, our oath that we swear to protect all life. All life is sacred. The people of Gaza and Palestine are sacred. So in our condemnation, we present our evaluation of the heinous attack, which was said before to be on the lines of chemical warfare and biological warfare. It's the same tools they use in Gaza, in Jenin, in Palestine, in Lebanon, their white phosphorus, their quadcopters, their depravity. It's here and it's there. And the heinous attack occurred 1 week ago while we are civilians. We gathered as we protested and disrupted. And we will continue to gather against the ongoing genocide in Gaza. A few notes to substantiate our medical condemnation of the biological and chemical attacks. The elderly, the differentially abled, children, pregnant civilians. Bleach is toxic to the developing baby, the fetus, our children. It causes brain damage, yet that's what they don't even hesitate to use. And the people, the cops who are supposed to protect civilians did nothing. And so the resident of Summit chose to weaponize infection against us. And they attacked us with feces and objects and bleach. And how can we forget? They all repeat their tactics. At the Columbia encampments, where I was a medic at, they used chemical skunk. I don't even know where they got it from, but they attacked students. IOF on Columbia's campus attacked students with chemicals. They're all coordinating. This depravity is everywhere from here to in Palestine.
Healthy beginnings and hopeful futures. When I first saw the theme for World Health Day 2025, I laughed, not out of amusement, but out of sheer hypocrisy. Do these slogans include mothers of Gaza? Because as we speak, the world's conscience remains disturbingly silent on the catastrophic maternal and child health crisis unfolding there. Do they include the women whose wombs were torn apart, opened by shrapnel, whose fetuses were expelled in terror and pain? Do they include the mothers who carried their babies for 9 months through siege, starvation, and genocide, only to lose them through missile airstrikes? And what about the newborns dying in powerless incubators, suffocating not only from the lack of oxygen, but the lack of global concern about them? And we are demanding that the global health community stop pretending that there's no crisis in Gaza. And this is not a regional issue. This is not politics. This is humanity.
They tell us to protest peacefully, to follow the rules, to trust the system. But what happens when the system protects the oppressors? What happens when our peaceful presence is met with violence and no one blinks? This is not just about politics. This is about our lives. This is about being targeted with violence. This is about the targeted, violent silencing of students, organizers, and communities who dared to speak out against Zionism and stand in solidarity with Palestine. We are being attacked for simply existing, for simply resisting, and the world continues to look away. We've been warning you about the violence of Zionism, and without hesitation, you ignored us. You watched silently as they doxed our students, mocked our martyrs, beat our comrades, threatened us with death, deported us, and so much more. We are all witnesses to this brutality. We spoke up, we filed reports, we followed every so-called channel, and yet nothing. And now Zionists have grown bolder. They've learned just how easy it is to get away with violence. And now they're throwing bleach, heavy objects, and feces at us from rooftops. If the roles were reversed, we all know the outcome would be different. But because it's one of us, because we are Palestinian, Arab, Muslim, Black, Indigenous, immigrant, or allied, we are treated as disposable. They demonize our communities, they barely see us as human, and they try to destroy our resistance. But what they don't understand is that as long as Palestine is fighting, we're fighting. As long as our people are oppressed, we will continue to protest and resist.